down alone at dawn, with my hands in my coat. The beach was empty enough to hear my own steps. A gull cut across the water like it had somewhere better to be. I stood at the edge and let the wind take my face. My phone stayed dark in my pocket. For once I didn't check. The waves kept arriving like they had a patient job. I kicked at a shell near my shoe and watched it roll back. It made me laugh a little for no reason I could name. The sky changed slowly overhead from gray into blue. A little boy and his mother passed far down the shore. She pointed at a line of foam and he ran to catch it. I thought about all the things I'd been holding too tightly. So I sat on a driftwood plank with sand on my sleeves. I breathed with the water in and out, in and out. The bad thoughts lost their edges when they met that sound. Nothing asked me to hurry, and nothing needed a lie. And the rocks began to shine. I took off my shoes and let my feet go numb and warm. The sea looked less like a question, more like a door left open. I stood up lighter than I came, and that surprised me most of all. When I started back home, carried the salt with me, and it felt like proof that I was here. I came down the path alone, with a paper cup gone cold. Gulls were circling the pier, like they knew what I could not hold. My phone stayed dark in my pocket. I let it stay that way, just waves on the rocks below me, and the wind had things to say. I sat on the split wood bench by the snack stand, shuttered tight. A boy ran past with a red kite, and his mother laughed in sight. I watched a boat lean slowly through a strip of silver foam, and something in that drifting motion made my own chest feel like home. I thought about my old apartment, the box fan, the dirty plate, the words I kept on holding till they turned too heavy to name. But the tide kept taking shoreline, then giving it back again, and I started to believe I could loosen my own hands then. So I took off my shoes let the wet sand take my weight. I stood there with my breathing like a door left open late. The sky turned soft and copper. The day began to fade, and all that I was carrying did not need to stay. I walked until the lights came on in the diner up the road. Ordered tea I didn't finish, watched the window fog and glow. On the return path I was lighter, same beach but different eyes. The sea kept moving beside me, and I did too this time. I left my footprints unimportant, and the water kept them kind. I left my shoes by the fence and walked down to the water alone. The wind had salt on its hands, and it touched my face like it knew my name. A plastic bag spun past my knees, then disappeared into the dark, wet sand. I sat on a rock and watched the tide pull back like it had somewhere else to be. My phone stayed quiet in my pocket. For once I let it stay there. I counted gulls on the break and the small white boats in the distance. I kept thinking about my week, the things I said, the things I meant. But each wave came in clean and plain and made my busy mind feel less important. The sky turned softer above me like somebody dimmed the whole white day. A boy with a kite on the path laughed when the string caught in the grass. I smiled before I noticed it, then smiled again because it felt real. My shoulders dropped little by little, as if the shore had taught them how to rest. I did not need a big answer, I did not need to fix it all tonight. The water kept its distance and still it held me steady. I breathed in slow with the tide and let the sharp edges lose their grip. Somewhere between the foam and the stones, I found a room inside myself that felt open. When the first cold star appeared, I tied my laces and headed back. The street lamps waited on the hill, but I did not hurry toward them. I carried the sea in my coat, not wet, just quiet and near, like something kind had followed me home and sat with me until the door turned green. Now I know what peace can sound like. It sounds like waves leaving shore. I came down with my shoes in hand, carrying a week I could not name. The sand was cold, the sky was pale, and the water moved like it knew my name. I sat by the rocks and watched boats pass, one at a time through the silver haze. My phone stayed dark in my pocket. For once, I let it stay that way. A gull cut close over the tide, dropped a shadow on my sleeves. I laughed out loud at nothing at all, then stood there breathing in the breeze. There was salt on my lips, salt in my hair, salt on the cuffs of my old coat. I thought of every heavy word, then I let each one go. The shore kept working on my thoughts, washing their edges down. The big hard pieces in my chest started turning around. I found a shell with a broken rim, still smooth from the years it wore. I held it up to the afternoon, and it looked like enough right there for more. The color changed from gray to gold to blue. I did not need to solve my life, I only needed to move through. So I walked until my steps felt mine, no hurry in my skin. The sea kept speaking in its own old way, and I finally listened in. By evening, the wind went soft, and the first stars edged the waterline. I tucked my hands in my jacket pockets and felt less like I was out of time. And I let it take the last one too. I came down with my pockets full of worry, and a paper cup gone cold in my hand. The pier was empty except for one gull, staring like it understood my plan. I sat on the steps where the wood was weathered and let my shoes catch the spray. I did not know what I came here to fix. I only knew I needed the day. The waves kept folding their edges inward, like they had nowhere else to be. A child's red bucket lay on its side near a shell line that ran to the sea. I watched a boat tip past the horizon, slow as a thought I could not hold. And for the first time in a long while, my chest did not feel so old. I took one breath and then another, let the salt air work on me. The blame I carried started to loosen like wet sand slipping back from a knee. My name felt smaller in the open, my fear felt less like a wall. I heard the shore keep doing its answer, and I did not need to solve it all. There was a crack in the gray afternoon, then a strip of blue came through. A line of light on the water made a path I could walk to. I stood up slow on the piling with my hands by my sides, and something inside me stopped running when I stopped trying to hide. So I left my footprints by the railing and let the tide take what it could. The goal is gone, the cup was empty. The wind moved through the driftwood. I turned my face toward the open water, and I did not ask for more. I only kept the steady feeling of being enough by the shore. I walked home carrying nothing except salt in my hands. I came down early with a paper cup and sat on the wall by the water. My phone stayed face down in my bag, like I knew I needed less chatter. The tide kept moving in plain view, pushing my thoughts to the edge. I watched one fishing boat go by and let the morning do the rest. The sanded ridges from last night's wind, like someone folded the shore. I took my shoes off one by one, and like the way the cool felt more. A child laughed somewhere down the beach, then ran off toward a dog. I smiled before I meant to, and that surprised me quite a lot. I had been carrying gold names like stones in both of my hands, turning every small mistake into a bigger reason to stand still. But the water never asked me why, it only came and went. So I started matching my breath to the small crash at the rocks. I don't need to solve it today, I don't need to prove a thing. The sky can open on its own and the day can still be kind. I drew a line in the wet sand and watched it fade away. Some things leave without breaking, some things leave to make room. By noon the light turned softer and the air smelled like salt and bread. I called my sister just to say I was fine and meant it then. I packed my shoes with grains of sand and kept one shell in my coat, a tiny white reminder that I was here and I chose hope. I walked home slower than I came, with the sea still in my chest. And for the first time in a long while, I felt light enough to rest. Came down here alone with my shoes in my hand. The sand was still warm when I sat by the edge. The water kept moving like it knew what I meant. I let my thoughts line up, then I let them all go. The sky leaned lower and turned gold at the rim. My phone stayed silent in the pocket of my coat. I watched the foam fade out, then come back again. That easy rhythm made my chest feel less tight. Nothing to fix right now, nothing to prove, just this quiet hour and the tide moving through. I used to carry too much into the night. Names, old worries, things I could not change. But here on this shore, they lose their sharp edges. They drift from my hands like salt in the tide. Nothing to hold too hard, nothing to keep. The sea takes what I give it and leaves me the peace. A gull crossed the water and vanished in light. The breeze on my face felt kind, almost kind. I breathed little longer as the blue turns soft, and I let the last thought fade into the waves. I came down early with my hands in my pockets. The sand was still cold from the night. The gull kept turning above the breakwater, like it had nowhere better to be. I sat by the rocks with my shoes half open and watched the water dragging slow. My head was loud with old small worries, but the shore did not ask to know. There was a boy with a red plastic bucket far down the beach with his mother near. He laughed at a shell he thought was magic, and I almost smiled for the first time here. I traced the line where the phone had stopped, then the next one reached a little more. It seemed like the sea was teaching me how to leave my marks and let them go. A woman walked past with a folded towel. She nodded once and kept her pace. Her dog chased shadows through the damp seaweed and shook a spray across my face. I let my phone sit dark in my lap. No one needed me for a while. The water kept taking back the edge of things until my breathing matched its style. I thought peace would come like a sudden answer, bright and clean and easy to hold. But it came in pieces and salt on my skin, in the simple fact that I stayed. The afternoon leaned gold over the water, and the wind got softer at the rail. I took off my watch and tucked it in my bag, like I was done keeping score. I stood where the tide had reached my ankles and felt the world widen out again. Nothing had changed except my shoulders, and that was change enough for then. When I turned to leave, the path felt lighter, and my name sounded kind in my mouth. I carried South Shore. I came down with my shoes in hand, left my day folded on the seat. The tide was riding on the sand, like it knew I needed something sweet. A boy with a kite ran past me laughing. His string got caught in the wind. I watched my tight thoughts keep drifting till they stopped trying to win. A gull cried once over the water. I laughed when I heard my own name. Nobody asked me for answers, so I the hard stuff drain. The sky turned silver at the edges. My breathing slowed to match the waves. I saw how small my worries were and how much space the sea still gave. Slipped my socks back on, unafraid. Walked home with salt on my hands. The road looked softer than it had, and I was learning how to land. I walked down to the shore with my phone on silent. Kept my shoes in my hand. The sand was cool and uneven, and the wind felt like it knew my name. A broken shell in my pocket, a face I had been trying not to see. So I sat on a driftwood plank and let the water look at me. A boy with a bucket passed me. He was building a fortress from wet stone. His mother called from the path behind him. He smiled like he had nowhere else to go. I watched the gulls make circles over the same dark patch of sea, and every thought I carried in here started losing its grip on me. The tide kept changing its mind, taking and giving back the beach. I found a strip of sea glass, green as a bottle in the sun. I held it up to my shoulder like it could answer something true, and for the first time all week I could hear my own breath through. I did not solve my whole life there, I did not need to. The sky the edges, and the water stayed close. I let the salt dry on my skin, I let the heavy part go loose. Some days peace is only this, standing still and staying with you. By evening, the path was empty. My footprints were almost gone. The horizon held a soft gold line that made the last light feel warm. I put the shell back by the railing, left the sea glass on the sand. Then I turned toward the town and the rain, with a calmer heart and open hands. When I reached the corner by my room, I still smelled the ocean on my coat, and I knew tomorrow might be hard, but tonight I was whole. I left my phone in the room and walked down to the water. The wind kept tugging my shirt like it knew I needed something. The sand was cold on my heels, the shore was empty and honest. I sat where the waves could reach and let the day sit down too. A man in a blue raincoat was dragging a net to his truck. A gull stole bread from the dock, then vanished over the pilings. I watched my hands in my lap, they looked tired from holding on. So I opened them to the tide and watched the salt take the edge off. Changing its mind from silver to pale gold slowly. I started naming the sounds instead of the things I feared. One wave, then another wave, one breath, then another breath. It felt like learning my name from someone kind and patient. I thought peace would arrive loud with answers and perfect timing, but it came with wet shoes, slow steps, and a little room in my chest. Let my shoulders go loose. By the time the boats came back, my thoughts were less sharp than before. The water had washed them smooth like glass with a rounded corner. I brushed the sand from my knees and laughed at how simple that was. No big sign, no miracle, just me and the tide and enough. I headed home with salt on my shoes and a quiet heart thought I could carry. I walked down alone at dawn, with my hands in my coat. The beach was empty enough to hear my own steps. A gull cut across the water like it had somewhere better to be. I stood at the edge and let the wind take my face. Stayed dark in my pocket. For once I didn't check. The waves kept arriving like they had a patient job. I kicked at a shell near my shoe and watched it roll back. It made me laugh a little for no reason I could name. The sky changed slowly overhead from gray into blue. A little boy and his mother passed far down the shore. She pointed at a line of foam and he ran to catch it. I thought about all the things I'd been holding too tightly. So I sat on a driftwood plank with sand on my sleeves. I breathed with the water in and out, in and out. The bad thoughts lost their edges when they met that sound. Nothing asked me to hurry, and nothing needed a lie. Began to shine. I took off my shoes and let my feet go numb and warm. The sea looked less like a question, more like a door left open. I stood up lighter than I came, and that surprised me most of all. When I started back home, carried the salt with me, and it felt like proof that I was here. I came down the path alone, with a paper cup gone cold. Gulls were circling the pier, like they knew what I could not hold. My phone stayed dark in my pocket. I let it stay that way, just waves on the rocks below me, and the wind had things to say. I sat on the split wood bench by the snack stand, shuttered tight. A boy ran past with a red kite, and his mother laughed in sight. I watched a boat lean slowly through a strip of silver foam, and something in that drifting motion made my own chest feel like home. thought about my old apartment, the box fan, the dirty plate, the words I kept on holding till they turned too heavy to name. But the tide kept taking shoreline, then giving it back again, and I started to believe I could loosen my own hands then. So I took off my shoes, let the wet sand take my weight. I stood there with my breathing like a door left open late. The sky turned soft and copper, the day began to fade, and all that I was carrying did not need to stay. I walked until the lights came on in the diner up the road. Ordered tea I didn't finish, watched the window fog and glow. On the return path I was lighter, same beach but different eyes. The sea kept moving beside me, and I did too this time. I left my footprints unimportant, and the water kept them kind. I left my shoes by the fence and walked down to the water alone. The wind had salt on its hands, and it touched my face like it knew my name. A plastic bag spun past my knees, then disappeared into the dark, wet sand. I sat on a rock and watched the tide pull back like it had somewhere else to be. My phone stayed quiet in my pocket. For once I let it stay there. I counted gulls on the break and the small white boats in the distance. I kept thinking about my week, the things I said, the things I meant. But each wave came in clean and plain and made my busy mind feel less important. The sky turned softer above me, like somebody dimmed the whole white day. A boy with a kite on the path laughed when the string caught in the grass. I smiled before I noticed it, then smiled again because it felt real. My shoulders dropped little by little, as if the shore had taught them how to rest. I did not need a big answer, I did not need to fix it all tonight. The water kept its distance, and still it held me steady. I breathed in slow with the tide, and let the sharp edges lose their grip. Somewhere between the foam and the stones, I found a room inside myself that felt open. When the first cold star appeared, tied my laces and headed back. The street lamps waited on the hill, but I did not hurry toward them. I carried the sea in my coat, not wet, just quiet and near, like something kind had followed me home and sat with me until the door turned green. Now I know what peace can sound like. It sounds like waves leaving shore. I came down with my shoes in hand, carrying a week I could not name. The sand was cold, the sky was pale, and the water moved like it knew my name. I sat by the rocks and watched boats pass, one at a time through the silver haze. My phone stayed dark in my pocket. For once, I let it stay that way. A gull cut close over the tide, dropped a shadow on my sleeves. I laughed out loud at nothing at all, then stood there breathing in the breeze. There was salt on my lips, salt in my hair, salt on the cuffs of my old coat. I thought of every heavy word, then I let each one go. The shore kept working on my thoughts, washing their edges down. The big hard pieces in my chest started turning round. I found a shell with a broken rim, still smooth from the years it wore. I held it up to the afternoon, and it looked like enough right there for more. The color changed from gray to gold to blue. I did not need to solve my life, I only needed to move through. So I walked until my steps felt mine, no hurry in my skin. The sea kept speaking in its own old way, and I finally listened in. By evening, the wind went soft, and the first stars edged the waterline. I tucked my hands in my jacket pockets and felt less like I was out of time. I left my on the pier. I left my fear in the foam. When I turned back toward the empty road, I knew I could make my way home. The tide erased my footprints clean, and I let it take the last one too. with my pockets full of worry, and a paper cup gone cold in my hand. The pier was empty except for one gull, staring like it understood my plan. I sat on the steps where the wood was weathered and let my shoes catch the spray. I did not know what I came here to fix. I only knew I needed the day. The waves kept folding their edges inward, like they had nowhere else to be. A child's red bucket lay on its side, near a shell line that ran to the sea. I watched a boat tip past the horizon, slow as a thought I could not hold. And for the first time in a long while, my chest did not feel so old. I took one breath and then another, let the salt air work on me. The blame I carried started to loosen, like wet sand slipping back from a knee. My name felt smaller in the open, my fear felt less like a wall. I heard the shore keep doing its answer, and I did not need to solve it all. There was a crack in the gray afternoon, then a strip of blue came through. A line of light on the water made a path I could walk to. I stood up slow on the piling with my hands by my sides, and something inside me stopped running when I stopped trying to hide. So I left my footprints by the railing and let the tide take what it could. The goal is gone, the cup was empty. The wind moved through the driftwood. I turned my face toward the open water, and I did not ask for more. I only kept the steady feeling of being enough by the shore. I walked home carrying nothing except salt in my hands. I came down early with a paper cup and sat on the wall by the water. My phone stayed face down in my bag, like I knew I needed less chatter. The tide kept moving in plain view, pushing my thoughts to the edge. I watched one fishing boat go by and let the morning do the rest. sanded ridges from last night's wind, like someone folded the shore. I took my shoes off one by one and liked the way the cool felt more. A child laughed somewhere down the beach, then ran off toward a dog. I smiled before I meant to, and that surprised me quite a lot. I had been carrying gold names like stones in both of my hands, turning every small mistake into a bigger reason to stand still. But the water never asked me why, it only came and went. So I started matching my breath to the small crash at the rocks. I don't need to solve it today, I don't need to prove a thing. The sky can open on its own and the day can still be kind. I drew a line in the wet sand and watched it fade away. Some things leave without breaking, some things leave to make room. By noon the light turned softer and the air smelled like salt and bread. I called my sister just to say I was fine and meant it then. I packed my shoes with grains of sand and kept one shell in my coat, a tiny white reminder that I was here and I chose hope. I walked home slower than I came, with the sea still in my chest. And for the first time in a long while, I felt light enough to rest. Came down here alone with my shoes in my hand. The sand was still warm when I sat by the edge. The water kept moving like it knew what I meant. I let my thoughts line up, then I let them all go. The sky leaned lower and turned gold at the rim. My phone stayed silent in the pocket of my coat. I watched the foam fade out, then come back again. That easy rhythm made my chest feel less tight. Nothing to fix right now, nothing to prove, just this quiet hour and the tide moving through. I used to carry too much into the night. Names, old worries, things I could not change. But here on the shore, they lose their sharp edges. They drift from my hands like salt in the tide. Nothing to hold too hard, nothing to keep. The sea takes what I give it and leaves me the peace. A gull crossed the water and vanished in light. The breeze blue turned soft, and I let the last thought fade into the waves. I came down early with my hands in my pockets. The sand was still cold from the night. The gull kept turning above the breakwater, like it had nowhere better to be. I sat by the rocks with my shoes half open and watched the water dragging slow. My head was loud with old small worries, but the shore did not ask to know. There was a boy with a red plastic bucket far down the beach with his mother near. He laughed at a shell he thought was magic, and I almost smiled for the first time here. I traced a line where the foam had stopped, then the next one reached a little more. It seemed like the sea was teaching me how to leave my marks and let them go. A woman walked past with a folded towel. She nodded once and kept her pace. Her dog chased shadows through the damp seaweed and shook a spray across my face. I let my phone sit dark in my lap. No one needed me for a while. The water kept taking back the edge of things until my breathing matched its style. I thought peace would come like a sudden answer, bright and clean and easy to hold. But it came in pieces and salt on my skin, in the simple fact that I stayed. The afternoon leaned gold over the water, and the wind got softer at the rail. I took off my watch and tucked it in my bag, like I was done keeping score. I stood where the tide had reached my ankles and felt the world widen out again. Nothing had changed except my shoulders, and that was change enough for then. When I turned to leave, the path felt lighter, and my name sounded kind in my mouth. I carried the sea in my wet foot and left my silence on the south shore. I came down with my shoes in hand, left my day folded on the seat. The tide was riding on the sand, like it knew I needed something sweet. A boy with a kite ran past me laughing. His string got caught in the wind. I watched my tight thoughts keep drifting till they stopped trying to win. A gull cried once over the water. I laughed when I heard my own name. Nobody asked me for answers, so I the hard stuff drain. The sky turned silver at the edges. My breathing slowed to match the waves. I saw how small my worries were and how much space the sea still gave. Slipped my socks back on, unafraid. Walked home with salt on my hands. The road looked softer than it had, and I was learning how to land. I walked down to the shore with my phone on silent. Kept my shoes in my hand. The sand was cool and uneven, and the wind felt like it knew my name. A broken shell in my pocket, a face I had been trying not to see. So I sat on a driftwood plank and let the water look at me. A boy with a bucket passed me. He was building a fortress from wet stone. His mother called from the path behind him. He smiled like he had nowhere else to go. I watched the gulls make circles over the same dark patch of sea, and every thought I carried in here started losing its grip on me. The tide kept changing its mind, taking and giving back the beach. I found a strip of sea glass, green as a bottle in the sun. I held it up to my shoulder like it could answer something true. And for the first time all week I could hear my own breath through. I did not solve my whole life there. I did not need to. with you. By evening, the path was empty. My footprints were almost gone. The horizon held a soft gold line that made the last light feel warm. I put the shell back by the railing, left the sea glass on the sand. Then I turned toward the town and the rain with a calmer heart and open hands. When I reached the corner by my room, I still smelled the ocean on my coat. And I knew tomorrow might be hard, but tonight I was whole. I left my phone in the room and walked down to the water. The wind kept tugging my shirt like it knew I needed something. The sand was cold on my heels, the shore was empty and honest. I sat where the waves could reach and let the day sit down too. A man in a blue raincoat was dragging a net to his truck. A gull stole bread from the dock, then vanished over the pilings. I watched my hands in my lap, they looked tired from holding on. So I opened them to the tide and watched the salt take the edge off. Changing its mind from silver to pale gold slowly. I started naming the sounds instead of the things I feared. One wave, then another wave, one breath, then another breath. It felt like learning my name from someone kind and patient. I thought peace would arrive loud with answers and perfect timing, but it came with wet shoes, slow steps, and a little room in my chest. He did not ask me why, it only kept moving forward. So I stood where the foam broke and let my shoulders go loose. By the time the boats came back, my thoughts were less sharp than before. The water had washed them smooth like glass with a rounded corner. I brushed the sand from my knees and laughed at how simple that was. No big sign, no miracle, just me and the tide and enough. I headed home with salt on my shoes and a quiet heart I could carry.